What's up, guys? Micah Curtis here, and I am appearing today as my illustrated avatar, which was made years ago, thanks to the talented Elusive Swede. And the main reason that I'm appearing like this is I honestly don't feel like getting dressed and being on camera right now. But while I was actually checking some stuff on YouTube while I'm getting ready for the podcast today, I actually noticed something kind of interesting. I noticed that it was my YouTube birthday, or so they say. Now, what that really means is that it's just like however many years ago that I created this account, it was on this day of July 24th. So that's interesting and kind of makes sense now that I think about it, because that would have been a long, long time ago, probably back in '09, I think. It's been some time. But regardless, one reason that I wanted to take a little time to make a video today was just because I kind of realized that it's also been a year since I had decided to take a little bit of hiatus away from doing YouTube videos, doing streaming on YouTube, things along those lines, and pretty much just stick to stuff over at Twitch. And in that year's time, it's really been interesting because I really feel like, in a lot of ways, I really got my head together. I really got on track with a lot of the things that I wanted to do in life, and got on track with, what the goal was and how to get there. And one thing that I realized was that I really needed to just focus myself on the things that I wanted, and then focus on what those steps are, and then take the time to figure out what all steps are to get to my eventual goals. And in doing such, I had realized there was a long road ahead of me, but in the process of figuring out what all of those steps were, I had also realized that I ticked off a lot of people. But as time has gone on, I've seen that I'm starting to see more of the old commenters coming back, and not only that, but I'm seeing that they're enthusiastic about what's going on, and they want, they're excited about what's coming next. I'm starting to see more people following me on social media as well, which is also really cool. My Twitter following is starting to get bigger again, and things of that nature. And I have to say, it's really nice to see, because I want this to be understood. I'm still the same guy in a lot of ways. I'm still the kind of guy who has a tendency to punch first and ask questions later. But at the same time, I've kind of learned a lot of restraint over the last year, and I've learned a lot of the things that I need to do to, truly grow. And a lot of what that is keeping your head straight, focusing on your goals, and being good to your fans. And that was the big thing for me, was over the last year. I don't shy away from the word fan. I don't, because in the end of at the end of it all, we're all fans of something, right? And I guess it's not out of the way for people to be fans of the things I put out there, because it's not like I'm just sitting here snapping selfies, not that anybody wants to look at my ugly mug, and doing nothing content and yelling at simps. I'm also not like I'm not hiding behind paywalls and things along those lines. I'm right here, and I'm offering things to people, and people are enjoying them. The podcast, and of course my comic books are kind of the big offerings, at least in my opinion. Those are the ones with like the most production value. Everything else is just gravy, I suppose. But regardless, the one thing that whenever I think about all of this is, like, the one reason that I wanted to get back into a good form was because I legitimately love my audience. I just, honestly was really bad at showing it, to be truthful. And to be frank, you guys have allowed me to experience things that I thought were not opportunities that I was ever going to see again. I didn't really think that I would be able to get back into broadcasting doing, you know, I used to work in radio, for those who don't know. It was my very first job. And I really liked it, but it didn't work out because my boss was a twit. So, podcasting to me is like having a radio show again. And to get back into that groove means a lot to me. And I've been doing it for almost 5 years now. And Mike and the Hatman is by no means the biggest podcast on the internet or anything like that, but we have fun. And that's the important thing. You know, we have fun. People enjoy it. People tune in week after week to see me and Hatman be goofballs. And it's a blast to do. And then, of course, you know, the comic book writing is a big deal to me. I mean, I just finished another book, which is going to be an 89-pager. And that one, you know, will probably be hitting crowdfund early next year. It's another horror comic about vampires. And I'm happy every time I see the reactions from people whenever I talk about these things and who I'm working with and things like that, and the excitement that comes from it. And believe it or not, some people would probably have you believe otherwise, but I actually do work very hard on every single script that I work on. And I don't put pencil to paper unless I am absolutely sure that the words that are going to hit that page are exactly what I believe needs to be hitting that page. You know, I don't futz around with 30 drafts or anything like that. I think it all through first. I'm a lot more calculated, I guess. But regardless, that's just a little bit of a, you know, peek into my method. When it comes right down to it, the big thing for me is that I'm starting to see things improve. I'm starting to see new doors open. And a lot of old doors that I thought were closed start to reopen. And I couldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for the support of the fans, of the people who drive me and want more from me. It's not the biggest group of people. I'm not that popular of a guy, and I'm never going to claim to be. But there's so many people that have done some awesome stuff for me by just being there, you know? And it means a lot to me for people to just be there and support, and to be there when, honestly, I needed it most. In the sense that, you know, I wasn't in the best place mentally last year. I think anybody can testify to that. And now I feel renewed, in a sense. You guys are my personal Lazarus pit. So, but I wanted to say thank you. You know, going into the campaign for 3 Nights, 4 Days Part 2, it seems like everybody that is associated with the project in one level or another is excited about it going live. Everybody that I worked with on the book initially really liked how it came out. I think it's a gorgeous comic book. And fan response was great. I mean, heck, there are people who don't even like me very much who said that my writing was really, really good in it. And that encouraged me to continue to improve and to put things together in a way that tell great stories that have plenty of action and a lot of fun and cool concepts, but also have a bit of heart to them. And the fact that that resonates with people makes me really happy, because it means I can still do the fun comic booky sort of stuff, but also, you know, the story has a functioning heart and a functioning brain, and isn't just, you know, it's my style. And that, in my opinion, is, you know, and the fact that it works is just, it's big to me, you know. So what I'm going to do to close this out, I know some people really like it when I tell stories. So I'm going to tell a little story about what made me realize I could still do this. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. Because it's been about a year since I quit the first time we launched Englewood Book 2 on Indiegogo. And, man, that pencils down order was like the hardest shit I had to do. Well, it wasn't until long after that that I went and I visited my dad, and it was oddly enough around the time that I quit RT as well. The gimmick was that I was just going to visit, which is I admittedly don't do too often because I tend to immerse myself in my work too much. But I went out there, and Dad had not read Englewood yet. And he sat down and he read it, and he was absolutely in love with it. And he was super excited about it. And then after that was my little sister's wedding. And at that point, I was flat broke. So I had no money to give to, or any like gifts to give to my sister. Not that really she really needed anything. Her and her husband both have like really, really well paying jobs. They're set. I'm very happy that I don't have to worry about my baby sister anymore. It's a weird feeling because I've been worrying about her because I'm a total worrywart about my siblings. But, you know, the fact that I don't have to worry about her anymore, I know that she's well taken care of, is a good feeling. But regardless, I just remember when one thing I gave her was I actually gave her a copy of Three Nights because I knew that she liked my work, and I gave her a copy of Englewood because she was a big supporter of me writing back when I was a teenager. And I was really worried that, you know, she was just going to kind of brush it off, and she just looks at me dead in the eyes. She goes, "This is an awesome gift." And I just want to tell you guys that it's things like that get me going. So I'm not going to say what all's coming up in the future. There's some big things happening. I'm just going to say that. But one or two of those things that I'm really going to look forward to doing is going out to conventions and having a Sleeveless Comics booth set up there to meet you guys. And I'm really looking forward to sitting down and getting to meet some of you guys face to face in the future and signing your books and talking about the creative process and things like that. Because this means the world to me, you know, because I think back to the origins of Comicsgate, and I think back to how disenfranchised I felt when Comicsgate first started, and I was, you know, one of the guys in the early days. I remember how disenfranchised, I still remember like it was yesterday, how disenfranchised we all are. And the fact that I can do something as hokey as it sounds to put a smile on somebody's face, you can't put a price on that. You really can't. So, thank you all for all of this. Okay, real quick shilling. 3 nights, 4 days. The campaign for that is actually going to launch sooner than you know it, as in first week of August. We are going to do a launch stream with a friend of mine. And I'm not going to say who yet, because we got to nail down a date. And then I'll be hopefully making other appearances, as there's ominous thunder in the background. And also, for those of you who have not, Englewood Book 2, it's going to have a little bit of delay. We've had some issues with our bank, but those are getting sorted out rather quickly, and the book should be done soon. It's about 80% complete, a little bit more than that. So it's still plenty of time for you guys to pick it up. Still, it's going to fulfill before you realize it. And we're almost at that 15K point, which basically means I get to throw money at Preston Acevedo to have him do an alternate cover. And for those of you who got the box tier, you get that cover for free, which is pretty freaking dope. So, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. Last thing, if you're not subscribed, please do so. Seriously. We are starting to climb in the subscriber numbers. Let's see if we can get to 19K within the next 6 months. Let's see if we can get there. Or maybe if we can get to 20K, that'd be even better. So subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I love all you guys, seriously. And I'm looking forward to getting to do more cool stuff with you guys here with me. With all that said, my name is Micah Curtis, your favorite vanilla gorilla. Have yourselves a great rest of your day.